We are moving back in. We are going to be bringing you the third round series now. It is going to be Bay or Bai versus Welcome to EU. Bay or Bai, the TSG, Son of Zeus, Caustique, and Whoopi against Sonika, Lyzes, and Lepane from Welcome to EU. Now, this Welcome to EU PHS put up a pretty good showing last round. Pretty entertaining games, ultimately weathered under the strength of Evangelin's PHS and SSDS's awesome damage. This TSG really wanting to prove themselves after that last series. Earlier in this tourney, they did amazing, but we're going to have to see what they can do in this series if they can pull out the big win here.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the difference here. And, one thing I was just discussing with this PHS was that they actually felt like they had the TSG counters PHS. We've seen a few of the PHSs beat these TSGs or smoke bombs, so I kind of feel like this could be a 50-50, but let's see. Son of Zeus charging in right away, getting really offensive, just out there already, just tunneling into Elias right now, trying to get out the most damage they possibly can. Whoopi into the full Hajj right now. Elias is popping his wings instantly on the CC, getting a dab of the sword out from him, trying to get a trap out of that. Oh, they go for the Weaver instead, actually. Getting out some really good damage with that. Elias is down to 70. He's going to just die almost. Gets the bubble off at the last second, 9k HP. And actually, it looks like an interrupt from the DK with the pet onto Sonika there. And right now, Elias is already sitting with almost nothing, bopping that fear on Sonika. And Son of Zeus really only having used one cooldown. One thing I do see, though, is now he's Bladestorming with Battle Stance. It's kind of dangerous, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, big damage went on to Elias there, and he popped those wings, and they didn't really even drop Son of Zeus below 70% in that burst. So going to have to wait for Avenging Wrath to come up again. It is going to be a little while. So in this downtime, can they land that CC onto Sonika and finish Elias up here? I'm not sure how many bops he has left, and that could be a really, really dangerous time. He goes in the Shockwave. Lepine goes in the Shockwave too. A lockout there on Sonika. Awesome job by Caustique there with the pet. So Lyzes does pop that wall, but he's still going to be in trouble. He's going to be dropping into the 40% range. There's the Strang onto Sonika. Elias is staying up relatively well there, and Son of Zeus taking some big damage, dropping below 35, and there's a Life Cocoon while Whoopi sits that Hodge. Pretty smart move there, letting Son of Zeus stay pretty offensive. DR trap onto Whoopi, but the bubble is still up, and Son of Zeus is now out of it. Let's see if Whoopi can pick him back up.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the longer this match goes, the worse off this TSG is going to be at this point. Elias and then they do have really long CDs for everything to come back, but I kind of feel like they're just stabilizing. Although, taking a second look at it, I do see Sonika really low on mana already, down to half. Elias is sitting at 100k without that many CDs left. And there goes the Spirit Link already. This is definitely going to be trouble for the PHS against this TSG. Not really able to do anything, and even stabilize Sonika basically getting interrupted on CD by the pet. And, getting a fear, having it break instantly right there, this is kind of bad for this PHS, getting just breathed on right now. Popping the Avenging Wrath right there, I kind of feel like maybe they could have held on to that, trying to get that Dive by the Sword without it, but he basically used that Dive by the Sword, traded it with the Avenging Wrath, and he's just going to keep top through that. And the Cocoon is going to be up already. This is definitely looking really bad for the PHS. They can't really force any CDs without the Avenging Wrath, but they need that Avenging Wrath without CDs up on the other team to win this.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see what they can do without the Avenging Wrath, just like you said. They need to land a CC chain onto Whoopi and really force some pressure on Son of Zeus. But going in that defensive stance every time he drops below 60%, then going back into battle, putting out pressure and really, really trying to keep Elias on the defensive. I think that last Avenging Wrath was half offensive, but maybe half defensive, just trying to get something going, and the full trap onto Whoopi there. So that is what they're looking for, but they need something to follow it up there. Short wiring. Can they get Son of Zeus dropped below 60%? It does not look like it, and Elias is taking big damage paralysis on Sonika. Can they follow that up? He may just go down. No, Elias gets the bop out, so they stabilize for now, but really, really running out of those cooldowns right now is the PHS. Son of Zeus still sitting pretty comfortably. Full Hodge onto Whoopi, and Son of Zeus putting up that Mass Spell Reflect, trying to stop any traps from going down. It looks like they are going to stabilize.
Yeah, even though they were stabilizing, this is basically every cooldown from the DK now. We have Garg up, Evolved Pet. I mean, this is really bad for Elias. He's not going to have Bubble up for what? Another minute now. If he can live another minute, they could potentially come back in this game. But he's on a 60k. If he gets touched by the Warrior, I mean, that could just be death. even Asphir, Execute is still a decent sized hit. If he gets any kind of procs at all, then that could just be the game right there. Bladestorm coming out of Son of Zeus right now, trying to see if he can just take down Elizus. Elizus just running for his life at this point. I don't even know if he should just be staying in or not. Freeing himself, just trying his best to kite this warrior. Sonika into the full asphyxiate. This could just be it with the pet stone on Elizus. He's 10. Oh, just instantly dies down from 60k. And that looks like that Bayer by TSG is going to take that win. So we're up 1-0 for them. Maybe on a different map, this PHS will have some better luck, but I kind of feel like at this point, maybe they're just getting countered a little bit.
Yeah, I think that TSG is definitely a really hard matchup for them. So much damage. Son of Zeus putting out 3.5 million, Caustic with 3.13. So impressive work there by Son of Zeus. Even while being trained, really, really putting out the pressure, getting fed some rage, and unfortunately for Welcome to EU, just taking so much damage that they can't really contend with. And it seemed like aside from that Avenging Wrath, it was really, really tough for them to force cooldowns there out of Whoopi. Really only 1 or 2 Monk bubbles went out that entire game. So let's see if they try to switch up the strat, maybe hit Death Knight. I'm not sure what they could do to try to level this series out.
Yeah, I mean, right now you got to wonder, is there anything they can do against a comp that is just demolishing them like this? And we do get the next match. It's actually going to be a random onto another Nagrand. I kind of feel like maybe this isn't a terrible map for either of them, but I still feel like the TSG just has the comp advantage in this case. They're going to end up winning this. And maybe this PHS just needs to try something different. We did see in the past that these Avenge, I remember his PHS in one of the first rounds of the tourney actually just demolishing a TSG. Not even letting it stay close, pretty much running in and globaling them. And you kind of wonder, is maybe Caustic playing Unholy actually what's making the difference here with those pet stuns and pet interrupts?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that could be a sleeper comp coming up here, especially as 6.1 is approaching. We'll have to see how Unholy fares for Death Knights. Frost obviously being the go-to for this past patch, but maybe we'll see a transition over to Unholy Death Knights. That the Gargoyle and pet cooldowns do force a lot of pressure, and we saw it there on Elizus. I mean, aside from being bursted, he was just constantly under insane pressure.
Yeah, so we're going to have this PHS running out of the gate as well as the TSG. Just kind of setting up. I kind of feel like they're just going to play defensive this game, maybe kiting a little bit more than they were previously, but if they can't get any damage out without the cooldowns, then I'm not sure that they're going to be able to win this. Getting a full sap there onto Lapien, just trying to stop damage from the opener, and looks like at this point, I mean, they basically haven't done anything. Lapien just sitting CC. Elias is popping his CD, but they don't have any real CC yet. Whoopi just sitting out there in the open, not even with a trap on him. They're basically going to be wasting this wings, it looks like. And Sonika getting feared right there, but it doesn't even seem to matter that much at the moment. And there's the damage right here. It looks like Elias is just going in. They actually chose to trap Son of Zeus on that wreck. Huge play right there from Lapien. That was a really good decision, in my opinion. Especially now that we have Garg and Wreck coming out. Wreck being pretty much wasted, and he's just trying to kite the rest of the CDs. This is what they should have been doing the first run, and I'm really happy to see they're doing it now. And Ascendant's coming out of Zanika, getting a really big Unleash heal right there with the full trap or the full Hajj on the Whoopi. They're switching over to him right now. He may just have to bubble this. Looks like he's actually going to wall that kind of sits safe right now. But 60k, just bubble instantly right there. And if he gets locked or anything like that, just DPSing straight through the bubble down at 60k, he doesn't seem to have a port down in a spot that's going to give him any kind of advantage. And the full asphyxiate, the full leg sweep on Elizus, I mean, this is going to be dangerous for Whoopi now. He doesn't have any CDs up for another minute. Elizus just sitting pretty right now with 150k to 200k HP pretty much consistently. Whoopi down to 100k, just sitting there, not able to redeem himself. And Elizus making huge mistake. They're using the bubble into the NS. That may just end up costing the game in another minute.
Well, I like this change of strats here. Huge damage onto Whoopi. He is in big trouble, 8%, and he does go down. Wow, nice hex there from Sonika onto Son of Zeus, and really a much better strategy, I think. We've seen this Welcome to EU team have a lot of success against Druids by training them down. Rind went down to them, Batosai went down to them, and now they're pulling a win against Whoopi there. I'm not sure at one point there, right before Whoopi was bursted down, about 20 seconds prior, I saw a Strang come out onto, or rather Asphyxiate come out onto Sonika. And Whoopi was taking a high amount of damage, and I do appreciate that they wanted to turn the game around and get a lot of pressure onto Lysis, make him go defensive, maybe pop bubble. But I really don't know if that stun should have been used as a heal at that point, letting Whoopi kind of reset and get himself back up to full before using it as offensive cooldown.